You get something from it every time. It makes me very teary every time I see it. Um, but it's about redemption. And it's about the fruition of coming to be an adult and taking on responsibility. And that's what it is. And it's a triumph of good over evil. And I think that kind of story will always be interesting to people, because that's what we all try to get the best out of ourselves. I think in the end that's what Simba gets out of himself, through his trials and tribulations and his banishment by his evil uncle, and then the redemption and the thing. Yes, I must go back. I am. You know, when he talks to his father, it's very moving, and it never fails to move me. It's just astonishing. When I wrote the original songs for The Lion King, I knew the film would be successful, but nobody had an idea of how successful this story would be and how long it would run for, and will run and run and run, because generations of children will be born and they'll go and see it. It's a wonderful story for children to see. It's a little sad in places, but that's life. It's about life. Whether it's human life or animal life, it's still the same thing. We revere our parents. We're sad when they die. And it's about being the man or the woman you can become because of your background. And it's just astonishing to me that I'm involved with something that's been so successful. Tim is just an adorable kind of person you want to spend time with. And when he rang me and said, listen, Disney are making this film called The Lion King, and they asked me who I'd like to write with, and I said Elton John. They said, well, you'll never get him. And I said, well, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'd love to work with you. And then I got to see the script, I got to see the little animation boards, and then I got to see, as it came together. I have Tim to thank for the whole experience of The Lion King. That one phone call he made to me, again, in life you get these phone calls that change your life. That changed my life and my career. There's about 5 songs in the film from the original. Hakuna Matata, Circle of Life, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, and The Morning Report. And they wanted a song for the end, and I think Beyonce's written a song which is also going to be in the film. So it's a no-brainer. I mean, seeing as we were such a big part of the first thing, it was nice to be included in the second. Hans and I have been friends for so many years, and he's been great on this project and keeping me filled in and saying, listen, I think we're going to need a different song. This is not going to work. And if Hans says that, then I'm okay with it. And so we went in and wrote another song. I'm not too proud. If something's not working and you want to maybe involved with something that really works, then you go in and try again. There's no egos being bashed. She said, right, let's go and write another song. Tim, you meet in an up-tempo lyric. And we did it pretty quickly, but it was what was needed, and I was happy to comply with that. It's lovely to get the opportunity to write another song for the movie. It's obviously the same story, but told in a completely different way. This is photoreal. This is quite astonishing. This is a technique that's really brand new, really, and it takes a long time to get, and Jon Favreau is the master of it. So you want to be involved no matter what. It's The Lion King, for Christ's sake. It's never too late to change, and that's what Simba goes through in this whole journey. It's never too late to change your mind about things, look at your life and say, I've got to change. It happened to me during my life. I had an epiphany in 1990. This is about having an epiphany in your life and saying, I need to take a fresh look at what I'm doing. I'm not doing the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing for my family, for myself, and for all the animals involved in the jungle. We don't want Scar. He's a bad egg. So this is a great message, and it's kind of similar to the way I've lived my life as well. So it really resonates with me. The people who saw it as children will be taking their children to see this. And so it's a whole new experience. I mean, forget the animation movie. This is a whole different thing. It's the same story, but it's more realistic because it looks real. I think people who love the original are going to love this one.
It was just great having all my favorite players in the room, and just people sort of being aware that they were working on something which was really quite special and quite precious. There had been a period, sort of a year ago or so, where I just got the band together and we just tried to sort of completely reinvent it. It didn't work. You know, it's like it didn't matter that what we were doing was new and fresh and fabulous. It wasn't it wasn't the movie. So it surprised me that the themes I'd written all those years ago actually sort of held up. It's just they needed to be played. They needed to be played by great musicians, which is, I mean, this is a considerably bigger movie and a considerably more epic movie, but weirdly, what I had done 25 years ago, not really knowing how an animated movie works, I'd written these huge epic themes, you know, and in a funny way, what happened this time by having this photorealism and having you know just John's direction, who he just opened it up so the themes could actually breathe, you know, and you could really do something with them. It's like 25 years ago, I was waiting for this version of this movie to come. It started off with John phoning me and going, "Did I want to come down to where they, you know, where they were making the movie?" And you know, it wasn't a normal set. It was just this huge warehouse by the airport. You know, it's like most unglamorous place you can go to. And so they had built a little theater in it, and says, "Here, let me show you the opening." And I went, "Yeah, you know, whatever. I've seen this sort of thing before." No, I hadn't. I mean, what he was doing and how it looked, and it just it. I didn't think I was capable of being moved by something I had done before and been so involved with before, and it just really moved me. And I thought, yeah, yeah, I want to be part of it. You know, you know, I want to help him tell the story again, because here's a man who really seems to know how to do this. It was such a gift to me because it meant I had to actually deal with some of my demons of my dad dying. And it was such a gift to me because I got to have this connection with my little girl in an extraordinary way. I mean, you know, being a film composer is already a it's a pretty lucky job, you know, but to actually make it that personal and make it that close to home, you know, and I never would have thought that a cartoon, you know, which is how I used to call it before before we started working on it, before it drew me in, before it changed my life, you know. I never thought that that movie would set me on this path of discovering things, of having that experience, and I never thought it would affect people, would give people such an enormous experience. You know, and it does it on a daily basis. You know, I mean, all over the world, people go to see the stage show, and people are waiting for this movie. And what John has done is so, I mean, it truly is revolutionary. We're just such good friends, but it's partly just watching him work with actors that aren't singers, and getting amazing things out of them, and you suddenly go, oh yeah, hang on, I get it. He did all that stuff on The Voice. He knows how to do this. And he was just our champion for making sure we kept including Africa in the movie. You know, this was important. On Lion King, we had this idea. I found this orchestra in New York, which was basically an African-American orchestra. So we got them to come to Los Angeles, put a lot of the musicians that had played on the original Lion King in amongst them as well, and then just rehearse them for 2 days, and just had this idea that it should be like a performance, that it shouldn't be like we are recording a movie, it should be like we're doing a concert. And I put like 20 seats out front, so and put all the filmmakers, like the cameraman, you know, the DP and the editor, into the room, so that it really did feel like they were doing a concert, and we would just do the movie like a show. It was always really important that, you know, Africa had literally a voice in this, and so, you know, Lebo went back to South Africa, recorded choirs for days, because that was always the idea. You know, we really did it the old-fashioned way. We had the big screen up so that the movie was playing. So, you know, we were in that world constantly. And everybody just brought the best, the best energy. But it's not so much the energy, it's they just played from their hearts. And one of the things which I think is really important in this is, I mean, Jon Favreau has such a big heart, and he leads with his heart, and you really, you know, you try to do justice to that, you know, within the music.
Hey, it's Lisa with more on animation. Did you know for The Lion King, the first script, which was titled King of the Beasts and then King of the Jungle, featured Scar as a lone lion unrelated to Simba, who was in charge of a pack of vicious baboons. Interesting concept, no? Now, do you like my t-shirt? You can get one for yourself in the link in the description below. And remember to click here below subscribe and tap the bell to always receive our videos in your feed.